welcome back to my channel. My name is Sim, and on today's video we are going to be doing a sit down. I am going to be giving my unsolicited advice to those of you or us who have just gotten their first corporate jobs. I know it can be quite nerve-wracking starting your first job, and you often don't know what to do and what not to do. So I decided to do this video to give a little bit of insight and a little bit of my advice from my experience in corporate. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. And for those of you that have been here since the beginning and have been coming back time and time again, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. And if you haven't, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. The purpose of this video is to give advice. I don't know if I'm going to title it 5 things to pack in your bag, or the do's and don'ts, or so you got your first job, what do you bring with you? I think that. Yeah, so the title of this video is so you got your first job, what do you bring with? I am going to give my advice on how to approach your first job. I have seen on social media over the last couple of months a lot of unsolicited advice where they tell you about building boundaries, about saying no, about having clear structure on I start work at this time, I finish work at this time, I don't work beyond my work hours. And as much as that advice is good advice for people that have already built their brand, but if this is your first job, I wouldn't particularly advise someone to do that. So my 5 do's and don'ts, let me just pull up my notes. Okay. So it's very important when you start your first job that you go in there confident. Confidence is key. Confidence is the first thing that you put on. The first thing that you put on in the morning when you go and tackle any day. You should bring as much of your confidence with you anywhere and almost everywhere you go. Don't be overly confident and think you know everything. Remember, if this is your first job, I think this could actually apply for almost every new job that you're starting. You don't know the ins and outs of the business. You don't know how things are run. You may have an idea of what your KPIs are and what you're expected to do on a day-to-day basis, but you still need to learn everything there is to learn about the business for you to be able to adequately and to the best of your ability execute all those tasks. So it's very important that you go in there with a sense of confidence. Remember, you did the interview, and when they interviewed you, they saw you as a good enough candidate for the job. So because they've already seen the potential within you, you must go in there confident that you can do it, because that's half the battle won, and then you learn the rest along the way. So confidence is key. Confidence is the first thing that you pack in your bag. Never ever forget your confidence. Okay, on the topic of boundaries, this is a very touchy topic, because if this is your first job, you don't want to start off building your brand, because that is what you're doing. What you're selling is yourself. What you're selling is your brand. So if you're going to go into your first job and you're going to build a brand of working hours is 8 to 5 and I only work from 8 to 5, then that's the brand that you're building for yourself. I'm not saying overly extend yourself. I'm not saying go over and above, because that has its own backlash, that has its own consequences, and they sometimes almost always never work in your favor, especially when you're young and it's your first job. Remember, the one thing you must always remember, you are selling yourself. First and foremost, you are building your brand. You are building it from scratch. Yes, you've been through school. Yes, you've been through varsity and everything in between, and you kind of have a sense of who you are, but you are starting brand new. In the corporate world, you're not known. And the honest truth is the corporate world is the small. Someone always knows someone that knows someone that knows someone. And if you're going to be known as that person that firstly you sold yourself very highly and then you didn't deliver, or you're that person that comes and does the bare minimum and you leave, that becomes the brand that you have, and most people don't want to hire those type of people. Remember your industry. Remember, let me not even say industry. Remember your geographical location. Maybe it's my personal For You page on Instagram, but when you're seeing these skits of people that are like, no, set clear boundaries, tell your manager if this is above your pay grade, and if you're not getting compensated for that work, you don't have to do it, because if they want someone to do it, then they must pay someone to do it. You must remember your geographical location, because with unemployment in South Africa, there's a lot more people that are willing to take your job and go the extra mile that you are not willing to go. That takes me to point 3. In my first job, one of the stickers I saw when I first entered said, there's no traffic along the extra mile. Go the extra mile. If you can go the extra mile, go the extra mile. I'm not saying make it your forever neighborhood, because that has its consequences. And believe me when I tell you that it has its consequences. Because if your forever home is the extra mile, you are doing a lot of thankless tasks. You are doing a lot of work that no one is willing to do. You're doing a lot of work that you're not being compensated for. And realistically speaking, managers, executives, anyone that you report to can see when you're doing that work. They'll be grateful, yes, and sometimes if you're very lucky, you will get compensated for going the extra mile, and you'll be recognized, and you will be able to build that brand off of that, and that will work in your favor. But most often than not, it ends up blocking you in the long run, where now you're unable to move forward and you're unable to grow within that space, within that company, because you've kind of become irreplaceable. No one thinks anyone can do the job as good as you do it. So always keep that in mind when you go the extra mile. However, I will still stick to this. There's no traffic along the extra mile. Go the extra mile. If you can and you're willing to, and you're willing to not get compensated, you're not trying to get recognition for it, you're just doing it out of the goodness of your heart because you can see there's a need for it, by all means, go that extra mile. And that brings me to point 4. Remember that you're working within a team. I don't think anyone goes into a company and works solo. Remember, you're working within a team. And if you're working within a team, you must remember that you're not only responsible for your tasks, you're responsible for the greater performance of the team. So if you're slacking, it brings down the whole team. If you are not communicating that, hey, I'm struggling with 1, 2, 3, the team doesn't know how to help you, when to help you. If you're going to go into a team and you get there and everyone is an extra mile person, everyone in that team goes the extra mile, that is, I don't want to say the expectation, but that is the norm in the team. If you're going to get there and you're going to be a bare minimum, I'm only going to do the work that I'm getting paid to do, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. And most times, management is not appreciative of that, because you're going to get into a team where you're going to be taught. Someone's going to train you and they're going to tell you, do 1, 2, 3, 4. These are our deadlines. We work like this, we work like that. And then you decide, actually, I can't meet that deadline. It doesn't make sense for me to meet that deadline because I only work 8 hours a day. And if it doesn't fit into my 8 hours, then they must see how they cover for the rest. If you are unable to meet the KPIs that you signed for, it's going to come back and bite you. I'm going to repeat that. If you are unable to meet the KPIs you've signed for, it's going to come back to bite you because you're not communicating. You're coming in with a cocky attitude of, I'm not going to work more hours than my 8 hours. You're also not communicating to the remainder of the team that, listen, the amount of work that I've been given is too much for what I can handle. I actually cannot take up all of this work and I need help, or I need more time, or I need something. You need to be able to communicate. If you're going to get there and you're just going to be that person that's not finishing the job, remember, if they're hiring for that position, it's possible that whoever was in that position before was able to do all of that work in the allocated time. Maybe they were an extra mile person and they would go and work in their own time when they get home and then make sure that the job is finished. without being thanked for it, just to make sure that tasks are done and KPIs are met and deadlines are met and the team is happy and the team is progressing. When you get there and you can see that the load is too much for you, you communicate. You say it outright. Hi, Mr. Manager. Hi, Miss Manager. I actually cannot with this workload. It's a lot for me. I am unable to digest everything. I don't know how we can work out a system where I can maybe get help or we figure out a way to better the process. You come and you communicate. If you're just going to be that person that's always letting the team down, guess what? The rest of the team's not going to want you. It's not just going to be the manager that's against you or the manager that's upset with your performance. It's going to be the whole team looking at you and saying, we have to pick up your slack because you've decided to slack. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Especially, this brings me to my last point, especially when you're on probation. Probation is normally the first 3 months of your job. And in my opinion, that's when you make your mark. You know the saying, first impressions last the longest. So in your first month, yes, you're going to get there, you're going to know nothing. You're going to be told, okay, this is how the system works. This is what you do on this day. This is what you do on the next day. This is how you do this thing. This is how you do that thing. No one is expecting that at 4 months, you're still going to go back to the person that trained and be like, hi, how do I do this? No. Take initiative and make sure that your training is progressing in a way that is advantageous for you. It's very important that you take your own personal brand more seriously than anything else. There are other nitty-gritties about getting along with the team, about asking for help and all these other things. Those things you can learn along the way. But this video is specifically to tell you what attitude to go into business with. Go in there with a positive attitude. Go in there confident that yes, you can do it. Yes, it's going to take a bit of time. Yes, you're going to stumble and fall a couple of times, but you're going to get back up, going to dust yourself off, and you're going to tackle it, and you're going to be a superstar. You're going to be a superstar, and whenever you don't know something and you need help, you're going to speak up, and whatever training you receive within your first month, you take that training very seriously. The first couple of weeks is really for you to sit and absorb and ask questions and get things wrong and fix them, and then you can look at being a perfectionist. So on the don'ts, personal opinion, leave your attitude at home. Leave it at the gate. Leave it at your mother's gate. You are not privileged when you come to the workplace. Everyone is equal when you're at the workplace. You can't come here and expect us to grovel at your feet or to bow down to you because you're so young and you have all these qualifications. There's people that have been there longer than you that may not have your qualifications, and all they have is the experience and they know more than you. So don't go there with the attitude of, I have studied, I know what I'm doing, and I'm just coming here to get taught how to use the system. I'm getting taught how to run the business, how everything runs in this business, and I'm going to just be a superstar. You are going to need almost every person that you meet in that company. You're going to need almost every person in your team. It's very important that you come in there with an attitude of being one with others. You are not a single entity. You're not a single entity. Remember, you are part of a team. And at the end of the day, the performance of the team comes above the performance of the individual. Yes, you'll get appraised by yourself, but your contribution to the team means a lot because that is also a part of your brand. Because at the end of the day, I don't think anyone goes into business just so they can be a subordinate for forever. You're going to go there. First job, you're going to be bottom of the ladder, and your plan is to grow. Your plan is to lead one day. And if you're going to go in there and you're not going to be someone that's going to be able to work in a team, you're already showing the whole team that you're not capable of leading. And then the second thing on the don'ts, don't go in there with an attitude of competing. And this particularly goes for the females. This goes for the girls. Nothing is as disheartening as joining a team where everyone thinks you're a competition. And if you're going to get there and you are going to now bring the competition, you're going to decide, I'm here to compete with everyone, I'm here to outperform everyone, I'm here to be number one. You are selling yourself short. You are breaking relationships that you should be building. You are burning bridges before they are even built. No one is your competition. Everyone is here to do their work. everyone is here to do their jobs, and everyone is here to be the best that they can be. And also, this is a point, I'm going to go on a tangent now. This is a point on Black female managers that just choose time and again to be in competition with their subordinates. Please, if I'm reporting to you, you're not my competition. I'm not trying to get your job. I'm not there yet. And when I am at that position, I would probably most likely leave the company and go elsewhere. Please stop treating your subordinates as competition, because that breaks down the whole team. Because then the people can't come to you and discuss with you problems and issues that they're having within the team, because you see everyone as competition. And then it ends up breaking the whole relationship of the team, and then the whole team is a mess, and then the performance is down. Okay, I was rambling. Sorry. Yes, so you are not in competition with the people in your team. You are all part of one team. You're all part of one company. You all have one goal in common, which is to make wealth for the investors of the company, to make sure that you are performing, you are meeting your KPIs, you are exceeding your KPIs, you are building your own personal brand. And then another thing that you should bring with you is an attitude of building family and community. When you go into a company, it's very important that you have that attitude of building family and community, because these people, you're going to be with them more than you're going to be with your family. And if you absolutely hate them and you absolutely despise them, or you are the bad apple in the bad seed, you're going to have a horrible time. You're going to absolutely hate every minute of working. And sometimes it won't be because the culture in the company is horrible. Sometimes it will literally just be because you are horrible and everyone else is retaliating against you. So don't be that person. You are there to build company. You are there to build community and happiness. Bring a smile. I'm a god. Smile. Bring a smile. Please smile when you are at work. Bring happiness. Bring sunshine. Bring rainbows. Be a ray of sunshine in the company, and you'll see your life is just going to be so smooth. It's just going to be so smooth. If you are a reclusive person, it's another don't. If you're a reclusive person, please try and find a way. Try and find a way to come up. I don't know, but try and find a way, you know? Try and find a way to leave it at home. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but try and find a way. If you know you're cheeky, and this is coming from someone that's cheeky, I'm very cheeky. If you know you're cheeky, that's not something that's going to propel you in business. It's not something that's going to propel you within the team. It's not something that's going to propel you or even give you any good vibes or give you anything in corporate when you're working. No. Learn to calm yourself down. If you can tell that your emotions are getting a little high, take some time off. Go outside, breathe some fresh air, come back inside. Maybe that's why smokers are so happy, because they go outside and they look at the birds and they look at the trees and they de-stress for that 3 minutes where they are smoking their cigarettes and they come back. If you can feel yourself getting emotional, if you can feel yourself feeling like you're overwhelmed, excuse yourself, go look at the birds, look at the trees, look at the tiling outside, look at what type of windows the company has. Get a bit of fresh air and then come back inside and start again. Don't be that person that's shouting. Don't be that person that's always grumpy and moody, and just be a general happy person. I wish you the best of luck in this new journey that you will be taking into corporate. I hope that my 5 cents advice, my unsolicited advice, will help you in navigating this very hard terrain. We learn every day. We wake up every day and we learn, and it's just a whole learning process. You never know, you're never done, you're never finished, In your old age, you'll be learning new tricks. You'll be learning how to deal with people, different people from different backgrounds with different personalities. And it's very important that you just have an open mind and an open heart. And with that, I don't think anything will stand in your way. Just do your job with a smile and an open heart, and hopefully everything goes well. Thank you so much for tuning into my video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're still here at this point, please do consider subscribing to my channel. Please leave me a comment if you liked this video. Tell me what else you'd like to talk about. I am considering doing a video on management styles and how people feel about certain managers. Tell me if you're interested in me doing a video about that. I'm happy to do it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on my next video. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.